What's going on, guys? It's GBP baby. Welcome to another video. It's currently Monday the 28th of August, 15 minutes past midnight. And yeah, welcome to the weekly review. We're going to run through the week and I'm going to outline my expectations going forward. And we're going to start with Dixie's weekly. So you'll see here that I have this weekly volume imbalance drawn out in yellow. Now, I've drawn this out because we haven't actually traded through it on the upside. We've came up to it back in May, and we turned around at this point, and we traded lower, took out sell stops, and now, obviously, over the past couple months, over the past month mainly, we've expanded quite aggressively higher, running back into the volume imbalance, and we just traded back into it last week. So what I'm anticipating now is I want to see if this buy-side liquidity can get tapped. And I've also marked out the consequent encroachment of this week here, which is from March. Now, the reason for this is because this volume imbalance, I expect it to be filled, especially since we traded aggressively into it, like so. We traded past the 50% level. So now I want to see if price can continue to fill in this, and then I'd like to see us leave it. Now, we're going to drop down to the daily. And you'll see how we gapped up on the Friday. And I've got some marking outs already to delineate some premium and discount PDRAs. We'll start with the premium. You'll see here's a daily volume imbalance that we can't see on the weekly. But if you look at this dashed line, this is that consequent encroachment. Let me just write that out. This is the consequent encroachment from the weekly, so you can see how nicely that lines up with this volume imbalance. So if price is to trade through this through the weekly volume imbalance and take out this buy side liquidity, I would then want to see if it can reach into this daily volume imbalance. Now, if we look into the more recent price action over the past couple of weeks, we can see how Dixie created a breaker. Right, so this was the swing low I was talking about. So we got a low, a high, a lower low, and then we can see we break higher. So now this swing high to this swing low makes a breaker because this low got tagged. So this is a breaker. We've delineated the breaker high, delineated the breaker low, and I've also delineated the midpoint, and you can see our price sits nicely on top of that, and then the 25% level as well. So why have I marked out that? Because this is going to act as a discount array. So if we trade lower, I'd expect to see price turn around at these points. If we jump down to the 4 hour, you can see there's some liquidity resting below this swing low. So if price does want to draw lower, I'd then want to see it trade into this fair value gap here. And it's possible that this may just be simply engineered there so that we can take out those sell stops and then move higher. Now, if price is to trade through this breaker, so if we trade past this 50% level and push down lower, in that case, I'd then expect this low to get taken and for us to start looking for more sell side objectives. But that is only assuming we take out the 50% level off the breaker. Other than that, I want to see the breaker continue to act as support, and this fair value gap seems like a fair point for it to want to either turn around or show support. Again, once this 50% level gets violated, then I'd start to anticipate lower prices on dollar. But other than that, I have my eyes set on this buy side liquidity resting above here, and then after that, it would have to see if we can reach up into that daily weekly consequent encroachment, sorry. So yeah, if we drop down to the 1 hour, we can see how the week went. It's a pretty classic week in terms of Monday we consolidated, Tuesday we came down, making the low of the week, taking out sell stops from Thursday, the week before that. You see them we expand higher. Look how price comes down into the breaker, finds respect at that 50% level, consolidates at it, and then what happens as soon as we enter into Thursday's price action, we start to expand higher, rushing up, find support on top of the breaker here, and then we continue to wander into that weekly imbalance. And as you can see now, we're currently just consolidating within that weekly imbalance. Now it's just a matter of seeing what side gets tagged first. Will this sell side get ran? In which case we take out these stops. Again, might collect orders and then push higher, or are we going to continue higher and then this breaker is going to be used at a later point. At this point, it's just a waiting game. We are coming to the end of August soon. I'm very grateful for that because this month hasn't been the most ideal. But yeah, that's pretty much everything. But yeah, I do want to see if this sell side liquidity can get tagged. So we can go to GBP now, and we'll jump to the weekly. I do believe I do have some drawings out already, pretty similarly. Now, if we're expecting higher dollar, that means that we should be expecting lower GBP USD. You can see last week we had a very aggressive down day, closing over that fair value gap that I've been having my eyes on for a while. That's nice to see that it's finally completely filled, and it's nice to see that we closed below it. So now this fair value gap should turn from a supportive fair value gap when price was getting supported to now a resistant fair value gap. So now when price trades back into that area, I'd want to see it find resistance and some levels to turn around at. Now here, this is an immediate rebalance on the Friday and the Wednesday candle. You see how this wick trades into this down wick. That shows an immediate rebalance. So that means that this wick now I want to see act as resistance as well on the daily. We have some sell side liquidity resting below here, and you'll see that I've marked out a weekly. What is this? This is a weekly breaker as well, I believe. Low, high, low, low, and we break higher. So I've marked out the 50% level of that. Again, if price wants to dip down into that sell side liquidity, I can imagine that this swing low is going to get taken. If we drop down to the 4 hour, we can have a better look. So there's this sell side liquidity. There's a breaker on the lower time frame, and it matches with the 50% level of the higher time frame breaker. So in terms of sell stops, again, it'll be nice to see if price can find resistance within this and then start to push lower and went into the sell side liquidity. Again, assuming that dollar wants to move higher. This is going to be another one of those weeks when I'd rather wait for Monday to see how Monday trades. But other than that, that's my expectations on pound. Now, if we look at the start of the week on pound, we can look at the week as a whole. So we'll just find Monday at midnight, which was here. And you can see we made the high of the week on the Tuesday, as per usual, taking out sell stops and resting liquidity above this swing high, traded into this wick, acting as a rejection block, and then we broke down aggressively also in the Tuesday, came up one more time, and then ran down into this sell side liquidity. Now this back and forth action I saw in the last week is not very ideal, and I can imagine we're going to see a lot more volatility this week, considering we have quite a lot of heavy news drivers. So that's a matter of waiting. But yeah, that's everything on GBP USD. Let's take a look at Euro very quickly. I did do a trade on Euro. That video will come out tomorrow at around 7 PM, so keep an eye out for that. Similar action in Euro. You can see we traded through a fair value gap. This has been traded through. I'm now going to mark out the 50% level of that, and then I'd want to see price show resistance at this level. So I'll mark that out like that. And then where would I aim for next if on Euro? Well, this swing low, this weekly swing low seems reachable. Put sell side liquidity. And then we also have an order block here. So the order block open is going to be very sensitive to price, and that's going to be the opening. So I'll make that a dashed line, and then when we drop down to the daily, we can have a better look. So you can see we traded down into this order block. I was anticipating this if you watched last week's videos. And you can see again, immediate rebalance in terms of this down wick, this down candle, and then we traded up and down. So now this area, I believe, is rebalanced, is what is the right word. So that means now I don't really want to see price trade much higher than this. I don't any higher than this wick. I am going to look at the 50% level of this wick and see if price wants to turn around there. But again, it's going to be a matter of waiting to see how Monday trades before having a clear idea. If that's the case, we do have some buy side liquidity resting here, so there's reason for price to want to go up there. It's also dipping into a premium of that fair value gap, and it's also trading to this breaker low here, high, low, high, high, then we break lower. So this would act as a breaker. So these are all points where, these are all adding to the reason why price may want to refer to this consequent encroachment of the 4-hour wick. There's also this fair value gap. So this might make the high of the week if we are to push lower and run into this sell side liquidity and into that that order block I was talking about. So yeah, that's everything, guys. Thank you for watching. This has been GBP Baby. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Hopefully we can reach 500 subscribers in the next month. And yeah, that's 400 subscribers. And stay tuned tomorrow. Obviously, we're going to watch our Monday trades, and from then on, we can have a good week. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Peace.